Hello and welcome to another episode. And if you just heard me, I took a really deep breath. Do you want to know why? Because at the time of this recording, we are in the midst, I don't even know how many weeks into a severe lockdown. It's fucking intense. This year was just fucked up with the lockdown. So I've kind of been avoiding doing recording podcast episodes for the past couple of weeks because it's just been crazy. And so this is going to be a little bit of a mindful podcast because it's relevant. And I didn't want to come on here and talk about something that wasn't energetically aligned with me at the time of this recording. So I decided to do a podcast episode on food therapy because that's where I'm at the moment. That's currently what I'm going and feeling and doing. And yeah, I just wanted to be open and honest with you guys. And I'm sure in a year's time, when I probably look back at this episode, I'm going to be like, whoa, that was full on Marilyn, but it is what it is. So if many of you, not sure where you're listening, but we obviously here in Sydney, Australia, it is a full on freaking lockdown. It is April. It's not April. It's August. I don't even fucking know what month it is anymore. May as well be April. Makes no freaking difference. It's August and it's in the midst of a lockdown. And at the moment, I always feel like I come on here and I'm very encouraging with, forward thinking and meal planning. And to be honest, I'm doing all those things. And I think that they are really my saving grace at this point because, minimal trips to the supermarket to get stuff. So doing that meal planner just like once a week, it's been a little bit harder to find inspiration, I think, because I'm cooking 200 freaking snack plates a day, and other meals. So cooking's not exactly as enjoyable at this present time as it usually is, because just with all the other pressures that are coming upon us, like homeschooling and working and doing all this kind of other jazz as well. So what I've kind of been doing is I still batch cook. Over the weekend, I did a big pot of bolognese sauce and I made like lasagna, but I did I use the foil trays. I know they're probably not enviro friendly, but they're just easy to freeze and stuck in the freezer and pop into the oven. So when I do lasagna, it is a bit of a process. So I tend to just make 3 or 4 slabs at a time. It's easier. It saves me having to think and make something on other nights, especially when it's crazy. And now with having to homeschool and stuff and entertain kids all the time, it makes my life a lot easier. The other thing that I have been kind of doing, and it might be crazy for some, and that's okay, but I know a lot of you that listen to this podcast are foodies and do love and enjoy cooking, is I made dumplings. So I made these amazing, I have to say I nailed the filling, and they were so delicious and you didn't feel like shit eating them afterwards. So I did prawn and pork chive garlic dumplings. I love them. If you want the full recipe, I shared that in my Facebook community group, the Woo in Food. So I'll leave that in the show notes, and I'll also or you could just like punch it into Facebook and it'll come up. So I've got the recipe in there, and I know some of you are like, who is bothered? I don't mind an Aldi dumpling. I think that they're great. They're really good and handy to keep in the freezer, as well as like when I used to go to like either Cabramatta or, Asian grocery stores, like they'd have some really good quality ones. But I really have to say, don't shoot me, but I really enjoy just sitting there and stuffing them and folding them. It's something that you could do with the kids as well, but I didn't because I wanted my time. And cooking for me is very therapeutic. It's a creative outlet for me, and I love that. And I love sharing my recipes with you, as well as putting it in my subscription every month to give you ideas, because I know that it's not necessarily the cooking that pisses you off, it's thinking what the fuck to cook. So I love to, give you ideas and have that one outlet for you or one place to go to. Because for the love of Christ, if I go on Pinterest one more freaking day and pin another recipe that I never fucking cook, it will be the death of me. So I made the dumplings and I love them. I think a batch made about 60 or 65 dumplings, which was like amazing. So yum. I didn't make the sheets. I bought them already store bought. But the feeling, it was absolutely divine. So if you want the full recipe, like I said, go to the Facebook community group or DM me, whatever, and I'll flick it over to you as well, or put you in the right direction. The other thing that I loved about things like dumpling making or cakes or biscuits or whatever it may be is that, of course, it's definitely therapeutic. I try to put, sometimes I'll fold the dumplings at night while watching trash TV or put some music on or whatever it is, especially on the weekends. But I also reserve some aside for future use, but also, you know, I kind of just give some to friends. At the moment, we're kind of restricted as in terms of how far we can go. There is a radius rule, which I know seems pretty fucked up, but so I do have some people that live around me and I will just do a little DoorDash drop off. And I think that the beauty in that is just extending that love and appreciation. I'm always about that. That's something that I'm really, really, really big on. I always talk about that in terms of, you know, if someone's going through a difficult time, obviously this pandemic is a difficult time, you know, mentally for a lot of people and emotionally, especially with, you know, not being able to work and having to homeschool and juggle lots of other things. The other times that I always do this anyway is that, you know, if a friend of mine has had a baby, and we all know how hard it is after you've given birth, like especially if you have more than one child and perhaps a spouse that has to go back to work. I know that for me, when I had mine, I was like, I was so appreciative when someone would, you know, drop me off, I don't know, a casserole, a dish, something that it just would save me or my husband or whatever having to think about and do for that day. Just, it would make it so much easier. So I really encourage you, if you're a foodie and you are doing something that you love and you nail, and it's something that you can, you know, double or triple batch, pop in the freezer. Also just, you know, check in with your friends, check in with family, whoever it may be that you're close with, and can have that, you know, conversation with, and just share a meal, because you don't know what someone's feeling or going through. And it really makes a massive difference. And for those people that don't think that way or whatnot, and it's okay, there's nothing wrong with not being that way or doing that. It's just, this is perhaps a little podcast or a little reminder to maybe reach out and ask, or just don't wait for people to ask either. You know, I've had, you know, family or like whatever say like, oh, just ask. It's like, who is going to ask? I mean, maybe to your close friend, but most times we're not going to be like, hey, I'm challenged. You don't even know what the help you need with. You need help with everything. Let's be honest. So it's just something that we could just do to help each other out. So that's just like a little friendly reminder. I always bang on about it. So do a little door drop off if we're still in, by the time this comes out, I don't know, if we're still in a pandemic, maybe you could do that. If not, I think it's still nice to do that. Keep stuff in the freezer. You don't know if someone's going through a difficult time or giving birth. That's the best gift that you can ever give any woman. So anyway, I thought I would keep it a short episode, because 9 times out of 10, if we're still in lockdown, you are probably listening to this while you're hanging a load of washing, because that seems to be the new holiday destination for 2021, which is the sad freaking truth, right? So anyway, hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. I know it's a little bit different energetically and theme-wise to my other podcast episodes, but I have lots of great recipes that, you know, on my Instagram page, in my subscription. If you wish to sign up, you feel free to do so. But also my free Facebook community group. There's lots of people that share recipes in there, and really great ideas that just will get those creative juices flowing and just get you out of that like rut and lull of thinking what the hell to cook for dinner. Okay, so until next week, thank you for listening. If you are ever so kind to do so, feel free to subscribe, leave a rating, a great one, if that's okay. Reach out. I'm very open to DMs. Also, like obviously my Facebook group, I'm very active in there as well. But you can also follow me on Instagram at Rosano's Casa. Tag me in your remakes. I would love to see them and love any suggestions on what it is that you kind of cook when you are, bulk prepping or when you are giving food as gifts to other people, what they are. So please share them with me. I would love to see what you do, and I would love to share them because I know lots of people reach out to me asking, hey, my friend's having a baby. Like, what do you recommend? Are there any recipes that you could kind of like go to? Give me some ideas so that I can kind of make some stuff for her or him or whoever. Okay. Over and out, guys. Take care of yourselves.